Hello, hello. This is Gemini, your friendly neighborhood spy. Today I'm here to celebrate my channel reaching 200 subscribers. And to celebrate, I'll be making a list of my 10 most desired duo units for Fire Emblem Heroes. When I first started uploading videos, I genuinely thought I might get like 12 subscribers. Optimistically. So the fact that I can officially say that I have hundreds, plural, of subscribers just astounds me. Before I get into the rest of the video, I really want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and everyone who likes or comments on my videos. It's been so encouraging and has pushed me to want to make more kinds of videos. Once again, thank you so much to all of you. Now, as for this video, as I've already said, I'll be making a list of the 10 duo units I would most like to see added to FEH. To be clear, I doubt most of these duos on this list would ever actually happen. There's only maybe a couple that I think might. This is purely a Gemini wish list. These are for the day IS calls me up and asks me what they should do for all their seasonal banners going forward. What a day that'll be. I won't be theory crafting entire builds for any of them, but I will go over a few things for each duo. I'll explain why I would like to see this duo, who the lead hero might be, and some potential seasonal themes that the duo could appear in. Needless to say, I will be talking about the characters and their relationships, so there will be spoilers. You've been warned. One last clarification before we begin, this is strictly a list of potential duo heroes. I might make another wish list for harmonic units someday, but for now we're sticking with characters who appear in the same game. So, with all that said, let's get started. Starting off at number 10 is Raphael and Izzits from Three Houses. Raphael stands as the character who I had the biggest turnaround on from my first impression. I took one look at his appearance and thought, his whole character is just going to be about eating and working out. I thought he would be a really boring character that I wouldn't enjoy at all. And while I wasn't wrong about those specific traits for him, Raphael thoroughly surprised me with how much deeper a character he was than I expected. His very pure and genuine love for the people around him was really touching and sweet. And the way he reassured Izzits that he didn't hold his own parents' death against him made him really endearing. Despite my initial impression, he ended up being one of my favorite characters in Three Houses, and his friendship with Izzits was a big part of that. For that reason, I would love to see the two of them as a duo hero. From a storytelling perspective, I think Izzits would make more sense as the lead hero in the duo, shy and lacking confidence, but being cheered on by his close friend. For a seasonal theme, I'd say Christmas, but Izzits already has a Christmas alt. Therefore, I think they'd work really well on a new seasonal theme, a sports-themed banner. They'd be competing in an athletic competition together with Raphael cheering on Izzits and helping him gain more confidence. I feel like I have to state again that I'm not saying most of these would realistically happen, it's just a wish list. Number 9. Here we have Clyde and Chlorine from the Binding Blade. Both are characters that I like, but the main reason I put them on this list is that both of them have been in the game since launch day and neither has gotten anything yet. I also like their sibling bond and would just like to see more of them interacting in the game. For the lead hero, I think Chlorine is the better fit. Even though she loves her brother, I find it hard to imagine her playing second fiddle to anyone. Their duo skill could be something more defensive to represent Clyde protecting her. As for seasonal themes, I think the Love Abounds banner would be a great fit for them, but I could also see them making an appearance on a Binding Blade anniversary banner. Up next, number 8 isn't for me. It's for all those Scarlett fans out there who have been waiting so long for her to finally get into FEH. While I'd like to see her get her base version too, her having a duo with Ryoma would be a really nice addition. A lot of people have brought up how they had an actual relationship and reasons that they might get together, but unfortunately Scarlett was locked in as a Corrin-only romance. Also, considering her tragic fate in the revelations and conquest routes of Fates, Scarlett and her fans really do deserve something nice. Since the duo was meant as a dedication to Scarlett, she would obviously be the lead hero. If they were willing to mix up the New Year's banner instead of it being all OCs and beasts, then I think they'd fit really well there. The desert banner is another one that I could see for them. Hashtag justice for Scarlett. Number 7 is where I start to get into serious shut up and take my orbs territory. Here we have Eldigan and Ares from Genealogy of the Holy War. Eldigan was a character I really enjoyed in the first generation of the game, and I was furious about his execution. And Ares is probably my favorite character in the second generation. Since Ares was really young when his father died, it would be really interesting to see how they would interact and what they would talk about. I'd love to see them discuss what really happened with Shoggle and Sigurd leading up to Eldigan's death, and see how it affects Ares. For the lead hero, I would pick Ares. I like the idea of him leading the charge while his father watches on with both pride and concern. For some reason, I want to say Halloween is a seasonal theme for them. It might be a little silly since they're both pretty serious characters, but I also feel like it could be really endearing. Moving on, number 6 goes to Aniko and Wayne from Awakening. Aniko is my favorite character in Awakening, and I absolutely adored his support conversations with Wayne. The two of them are able to strike an incredible mix of comedy and serious reflection across their interactions. Their conversation in the Festival DLC banner, where they talked about the horror they felt at having to fight and kill other human beings after traveling back in time, were, in my opinion, one of the most poignant and thought-provoking moments in the game. While I would love for Aniko to be the lead hero, I think it's more likely to be Wayne. Like with Chlorine, it's hard to imagine him letting anyone else take the lead in a duo. Even so, I would just like to see more interactions between the two of them. As much as it would never happen, I would love to see them as a summer unit. However, there are a lot of other options that would work well for them too. An Awakening anniversary banner, Halloween, or a rerun of the Hot Spring theme are just a few that come to mind. Number 5. Here we have Salah and Leanne from the Talius games. Of all the duos I've put on the list, I think this is the one that is the most likely to actually happen. I mean, Nyla's appearance on the bridal banner a few years ago practically confirmed it. I love how much Salah cares about his hair and friends, particularly his relationship with Leanne. The two of them are probably my favorite couple from the Talius games. In addition to loving them as a couple, I think they'd create a beautiful and striking visual as a duo hero, the contrast of black and white and the flurry of wings. Their epitaph would absolutely have to be something about lovebirds. Obviously, they belong on the bridal banner. Also, Leanne is a pretty easy choice as the lead hero. She is the bride, after all. For number 4, we have another one of my favorite couples across the series, Pent and Louise from Blazing Blade. While the two of them were already featured together on the bridal banner years ago, albeit not as a duo since those weren't around yet, I can't get enough of the two of them together and would love to see them as a real duo hero this time. I love them both individually as characters, but I love them even more together. Honestly, they give me a little bit of a Morticia and Gomez Adams vibe, without the gothic flair. The two of them just love each other so much and talk so openly about their affection for each other, and I think it's the most precious thing. I feel like the desert banner would be a great theme for the two of them, since they're first encountered in the Nevada desert with Pent fighting off a horde of bandits on his own. I think it'd be really funny if their duo conversation referenced that somehow, how the lords and company thought they had to rescue Pent from the bandits, but just ended up having to rescue their precious experience points from him. As such, I feel like Pent is the better choice for the lead hero, but Louise could be a good choice as well. Coming up on number 3, we've reached Syrah and Urk, also from Blazing Blade. While I don't really ship the two of them, I do think their conversations are absolutely hilarious. Syrah is one of my favorite characters in the series, and she has gone woefully underrepresented across FEH's lifetime. A duo hero with the two of them has so much potential for comedy. I could see them fitting nicely on the spring banner, but I also really like the idea of them with a winter theme. They could be giving out presents, Syrah declaring how noble and generous she is, all the while Urk does all the real work. It goes without saying that Syrah would have to be the lead hero. She is a noble lady in need of an escort after all. The second place spot on my list is one I've had in mind for a long time. I would absolutely love to see a duo hero of Ronald and Tibarn from the Talius games. The idea for this duo comes from the battle in Radiant Dawn where Ronald fights Zelgis after being carried in by one of the Hawk Tribe warriors. He has an amazing line where he's about to take off and just says, "I hate flying," which would absolutely have to appear somewhere in this duo, either as a special quote or one of his lines when you select him or something. As such, Ronald would be the lead hero on this duo, but he would be a flying unit, representing how he's being carried in by Tibarn. Overall, they're both really great characters from the Talius games, and I'd love to see what they would talk about in their duo conversation. As for a seasonal theme for this duo, I'd love to see them for summer, but since New Year's has become something of a recurring beast banner, that could also be a good choice for them. Since Ronald is my favorite Talius character, I would spend a lot of orbs to bring this duo home. Before we move on to my number 1 desired duo hero, here are a few honorary mentions that didn't quite make the list. Number 1 couldn't be anyone else but Matthew and Layla from Blazing Blade. My favorite character, a ship I love, of course I want more. Considering how tragic their story is in FE7, it's been great seeing them get to be together and interact in Heroes. I would love to see even more. It must be said that I might never forgive IS for putting the thought of Detective Matthew and Layla into my head, and then, years later, still not delivering on it. Not only would the two of them be my top choice for a duo, but, and let me make this clear, I love detective fiction. It's one of my favorite genres. I love games like Ace Attorney and Danganronpa. Agatha Christie is one of my favorite authors, and I used to read the Detective Conan manga religiously. Putting so many things I love so much together in one idea and then not actually giving it to me? It's just cruel, you know? The Bridal Banner would also be a top tier choice for them, but I would take any of the themes and still be over the moon about it. Matthew should be the lead hero, if only because he's gone so long without an alt. All in all, without any doubt, Matthew and Layla are my most desired duo hero for Fire Emblem Heroes. That wraps up my most desired duo list for Fire Emblem Heroes. As always, if anyone from my ass is watching, please feel free to steal my ideas. If there's a duo you'd be really excited to see in Fae, please let me know about it in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you once again to all of my subscribers. Thank you for joining me for yet another video. With that said, have a wonderful day and Gemini out.